nice. Well, even if you have lived in California your whole life, you might be surprised to learn you don't know what California looks like.
We're talking about our landscape. Over the centuries, thousands of non-native plants have come in, taken over, and pushed out the native ones. Well, NBC Bay Area's Garvin Thomas is here to tell us about the group in the South Bay who's pushing back. Garvin.
Raj, there are many people around here who remember the dot-com bust a little more than a decade ago, but few as fondly as a group of South Bay environmentalists. That's because there was land in Santa Clara that some tech companies had plans to build on until those companies disappeared, leaving the land to people with a goal not to make history, but recreate it. It is fitting the San Francisco 49ers chose to build their new state-of-the-art football stadium in the heart of Silicon Valley. Because what is Silicon Valley about if not what's new and state-of-the-art? Which is why what is happening in the shadow of that very stadium is just so interesting. Dennis Dowling and his friends are trying to turn back the hands of time, trying to make a 40-acre patch of California look like, well, California.
I don't think anybody really knows what California really looked like. What you see now is not what California was like. I was always really skinny.
Dennis Dowling was a teacher in the Santa Clara Unified School District for 45 years. His specialty? Environmental science. The kind of teacher whose favorite memories were not made in a classroom, but out of doors.
They had a Spanish land grant map.
It's why a dozen years ago he was approached by fellow environmentalists who had a plan for a certain plot of land.
And Ulistac would be right about in this area right here.
One that once belonged to the Ohlone Indians, but was most recently the city's municipal golf course.
Fairway Glen was considered probably the worst golf course in the entire Bay Area.
Well, in 2001, the group convinced the city to set aside the land as the Ulistac Natural Area. Their goal, to return native California species to the land and weed out the invaders.
One more right by your camera.
In the years since, Dennis and many others have spent painstaking hours reclaiming the land, plant by plant, sometimes inch by inch. Just this past year, volunteers planted 4,000 individual grass plants, one shoot at a time.
There's easily 8,000 to 10,000 hours of work that's gone into that in the last 10 years.
But even after all that, they've reclaimed just a small portion of the land. The slow march of progress, however, is about to speed up. Dennis, you see, retired from teaching last year, although clearly not from work. And he's very happy to do that right here.
This is it. This is my avocation and my job. I'm there till I'm 90 years old.
If anybody would like to see what they've done with the natural area so far, they have a wildflower day Saturday, April 6th from 10 to 2. It's free. Everyone's welcome to come by. One of the interesting things, too, is they've been able to do it's such a labor-intensive operation. They've only been able to do a small portion of the natural area, return it back to its native. But doing the plants has already brought the animals back. So Dennis was telling me that a California quail hadn't been spotted in the area, and who knows how long, had come back and set up a nest there with the family. And he said it was fantastic to see the animals follow the plants, and they're excited about moving on to the whole 40 acres.
Who's paying for this? Do we know?
There are grants. There were grants. I think one in particular from the Santa Clara Valley Water District is paying. I think it pays Dennis's salary and get some of that going. But a lot of it, as you heard, 10,000 hours of volunteers.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of that labor is volunteer work.
Thank you.
Thanks.